What's up, guys? Welcome to this episode of Built Different. I'm super excited to introduce you guys to Mishala Lewis. She's got some really cool events that she plans and has recently stepped full-time into entrepreneurship, something that a lot of us are terrified to do. So Mishala, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, this is exciting to talk to somebody who has been an entrepreneur for a while, but has recently stepped into her full power. That's got to be exciting for you.
It is. It's exciting. It has its highs and lows, but that's the journey.
Yeah. So you've been doing events, right? What's your company called?
Yeah. So it's called NAVU.
NAVU?
NAVU. So essentially, it's inspired by navigating you through the event planning process, especially events with purpose.
Okay, that's so cool.
Yeah,
and what type of events do you like to do?
So I specialize, not your typical wedding and birthday party planner. I specialize in events that share information or connect people to each other. And so workshops, conferences, very intimate settings such as those that just bring awareness to critical information in our city. Filling those gaps is really important to me.
Very cool. And so you do them just in Omaha, or are you looking to expand outside, or what's your lane?
You know, my lane right now is wherever the capacity is at. I don't want to put my foot in my mouth and grow too fast, and so staying in Omaha is the season that I'm in.
Okay, very cool. So how long you been doing this for?
So I've been planning events since 2014. My very first event was when I was in undergrad, and I planned the Resilience Conference for high school girls. I had no experience. I just had all my ambitions, and so I've been bold in that skill. I've always had the courage to step into that boldness and just plan something that I feel like there's a need for. And so that event served high school girls in Nebraska, and we had about 100 girls that time.
Wow,
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And that was your first event?
My first event.
That's crazy. 100 people at your first event. That's a big deal. I was just talking to one of my clients the other day, and I helped coach her through her first event.
Yeah.
And she made money on it. I told her, I said, you don't understand how rare that is to make money on your first event?
Yeah.
People usually lose the first few events.
Oh, wow.
Because maybe you're just too good at it. You know, you've never been doing it. But it's very common for the first few events. People are investing, and then they don't know how to make pivots. They don't know how to get sponsorships. They don't know how to make sure they make partnerships with the venues and stuff. Right? I'm sure you do all those things.
Yeah, you're saying all the right things, all the right components that go into event planning, especially a successful event that does more than just fill seats. You really have to tap into development. You have to be aware of event marketing strategy. You have to be aware of outreach and engagement and how to do that in the best ways that align with the brand. So it's more than just event planning. Sometimes I struggle with, am I just an event planner? Am I a little bit more than that? And what's the appropriate title? Because there is a breadth of skills that you need to have in order to have a successful event.
So what are some of those?
Yeah, so right now what I'm stepping into is development work. So being able to confidently fundraise, it's one thing to walk around with all your ambitions very boldly and confidently, but putting in that formal ask is a growth journey, especially as a young Black woman. I grew up in a single family home and with a mom that I always saw her building relationships with men and asking them for money for sustainability, and I had this conviction in my heart that I would break that habit and be financially independent. And so it kind of serves against me being that headstrong into being independent financially, where it becomes a little awkward when I'm trying to do the fundraising. And so I just lead with my heart in those awkward times.
I love that. I mean, I think that's actually going to build you up for stronger success later.
Yeah.
Maybe right now it feels a little uncomfortable, but just keep leaning into that. I think you're onto something there.
A little bit of growing pains, that's all.
Totally.
Yeah.
And kudos to you for recognizing, your mother's pain and understanding that, you have the capability to outgrow that. That takes a lot of work to experience that type of growth and understand, your power and trusting yourself to navigate through those difficult, uncomfortable moments that you call them.
For sure. In order to be a good entrepreneur or one that has capacity to do great things, you have to be reflective of where your flaws are, where your shortcomings are, in order to grow into a stronger person, a well-rounded entrepreneur.
So, all right, so what's your favorite reflective practice?
Just sitting still and realizing the things that I am thankful for, but also where I fell short. And so asking people that I trust, how do you see me in these spaces as an event planner? What do you think I do well in allowing people that I trust that have rational opinions to share their insights about me? Because it's one thing to have my internal compass, but to hear how other people see me in these spaces also shapes how, the person that you become.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. And trusting yourself is so crucial. When my first business failed is because I didn't trust myself, and I didn't have that sense of humility to ask for help.
Wow.
Guys, ask for feedback is very valuable. Right? Is that what you agree?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think you got it spot on. You got to ask for help when you need it.
Yeah, that's good. So what's your favorite event that you've done so far?
My favorite event, I feel like, are the ones that are coming up, to be honest. I have this calling, this purpose that I feel like I have to execute these ideas, and it's one of those ideas where if I try to ignore it, it's gonna keep buzzing in my ear like that little bee or fly. And so we have the Resilience Brunch in April. That's an event to celebrate healing and growth through music and movement. And then we have the Shift Summit, and that's an innovation conference for Omaha. And so to answer and not to answer your question, it's the future. The future events are really gonna fill my cup.
I love that. That's a great answer. That's so cool. Okay, tell me about this resilience breakfast or brunch. Excuse me.
You got it. I mean, it's food. The Resilience Brunch is, like I said, a celebration of healing and growth. I think there was a study last year done by CHI that identified that although Omaha is a great city, it's great for entertainment, it's great for food, but we fall short when it comes to well-being and mental health resources. And so there was a demand for anxiety assistance, depression assistance, social interactions, especially after COVID. Like, mental health and well-being is really critical for our future economy, future city. And so this is an opportunity to respond to that demand through something that's not standard when we talk about, empowerment and healing and growth. It's not your typical event in the aspect where we're not going to be sitting in a circle telling sob stories or just sitting in our pain. We're going to celebrate how far we've come, and that can happen at the same time. Growth isn't just the start and stop. It's a continuous process. And so celebrating that incremental change is worth celebrating. And so we'll have 4 live performances. We'll have an R&B DJ. We'll have great food. And this is all happening at Set the Bar, a woman-owned sports bar. So it's really just about bringing the right people into the space to celebrate how great they are and how valuable they are to this community so that they can continue to show up.
Wow, well, it sounds like everybody needs to be there.
Yeah.
When is it?
At April 18th.
April 18th. Okay, at Set the Bar.
At Set
what
the
time?
Bar. 9 to 2 p.m.
9 to 2. Okay, that sounds amazing. I've got some connections I need to
Come on now.
link you with. That's amazing. I love the mindset behind it. It sounds like it's empowering and possibly solution-based.
Definitely want to bring in the aspect of restoration, reset. I feel like those are things that we kind of forgot about after like the DEAI craze and just being more production focused, performance based. We want to just be present and realize that we have trauma that we all carry. It doesn't have to be what we're focusing on, which is sexual assault awareness. Since it's April, we all go through trauma, and as entrepreneurs, we have to continue to show up every day. Regardless of what we're going through, we have to put on that trauma backpack and show up as the confident entrepreneur, show up as the confident mom or confident sister. And sometimes that gets a little heavy, but I want to turn that narrative into the conditioning to a stronger person for tomorrow. So that's what that is.
Amazing. So through entrepreneurship, we all know that it's not all peaches and roses and rainbows,
No.
right? Tell me a hardship that you faced early on in your journey that kind of tested you and you're like, I don't know if I want to go forward or not. What was it, and then how did you move past it?
Honestly, people kind of get the misconception that I am a very extroverted, bubbly person. I am introverted. I am very shy. And so being an entrepreneur, you have to walk around talking about how great whatever product or service that you offer is. And you can't be shy, because if you're not talking about your business, no one is. And so that is one of the barriers that I had to overcome. And honestly, it's still a process. Like on my way here, just to talk to you in front of these cameras, it was just, gotta give myself a little pep talk. this is necessary for me to have a successful event. If I want a successful event, I have to talk about it everywhere I go, tell people how passionate I am about it and why it's worth traveling to. And so it's just a practice and being aware of my shortcomings, but also realize I have to challenge myself to be better so that I can have great events.
That's so cool. So, okay, so you're like telling yourself this in the car on the way here?
Pep talk.
Okay, like what are you telling yourself? This is so good. I love it.
Honestly, like this is the pre-work to the success. That is one of the things that I told myself in the car is like, if you want a successful event, you have to do the work before the event. So what does the behind the scenes look like? It's not just thinking about the decor and the theme, but how do I show up in spaces in a very confident way where people understand why I'm doing this? And that starts with just being courageous and bold and having conversations like this and pretending to be an extroverted, bubbly person.
Well, I have a feeling eventually you're going to be an extrovert.
I appreciate it. Appreciate the confidence.
You're well on your way. You fooled me, I can tell you that much. So you left your 9 to 5. What was your 9 to 5? And then what gave you the confidence to take that faith step out and trust yourself and about that with entrepreneurship?
Yeah, so my background is actually in public administration and management. I've got my master's from UNO, and so I've always been service oriented. I wanted to graduate, and I was kind of coached into thinking, okay, once you get that degree, you get your 9 to 5, and that's success. And so I started working for like the university, UNO. I've worked for museums in Omaha. I've also worked at tech nonprofits. And so in all these spaces, I was creating these programs or events, experiences to showcase how great these organizations are. But then I got these examples in my life where this is not where you need to be. And so at my first job, working at the university, I didn't feel like it was home. And so I transitioned into working for the museum, and then I actually got laid off.
Oh.
And so that was a forced push. And so I feel like the universe, God, it kept giving me these signs like, stop doing the 9 to 5. How many times do we have to tell you that this is not for you right now? There's something greater waiting for you. Just step into it. And so I actually took the faith, didn't take the faith, but I took the signs and just like, all right, I'm just do it. We'll see what happens. What's the worst thing that can happen is that, okay, I fail, no one shows up to the events, but I'm still alive. I could take that. And so that was my transition into entrepreneurship, leaving the 9 to 5. Sometimes I was forced out. Sometimes I didn't feel like home, and then I felt like things were missing from my cup. I didn't feel full. And so I followed the path that took me to a full cup, and that's been entrepreneurship.
That's amazing. We have a pretty similar story. We're gonna have to talk about that off camera. But wow, you got another event coming up, you said in September, I think?
Yeah.
Tell me about that one.
That's called the Shift Summit, and that is basically an innovation conference that challenged us to think about how do we cultivate the creativity to build an innovative city. A lot of the times what happens is that Omaha is kind of late to trends. And we don't want to be late to the innovation one because that's going to bring a lot of traffic to Omaha. It's going to put us on the map. It's going to bring a lot of revenue for our city. So we want to make sure that we can do that in the most appropriate ways. And I believe that way is through collaboration, breaking down some of the silos that we have, and allowing everyone that's involved in innovation, not just the data people, not just the city planners, but even like the people that are born and raised in Omaha like myself who just have great ideas and they're just looking for the platform to share it. And so this is going to be a collaborative experience that allows them to step into a space that wants to hear their ideas and collaborate with the actual doers in the city to make it happen.
Wow. I have a feeling we're going to be doing some cool stuff together.
All right. Speaking of existence.
The city needs it.
Yes, they do.
I promise you that. Well, this has been an absolute pleasure. Set the bar, April 18th.
Yes, you got it.
Brunch. And who's your client avatar? Who do you want to be there?
It's anybody that hasn't slowed down in a minute to realize how far they've come. If you've just been locked in the grind and you haven't really taken the time to celebrate yourself, set the bar. April 18th is going to be the time for you.
Awesome. All right. Well, we'll see you there.
Yes.
Thank you for being on the show. I'm your host, Grant Stonebraker. I have a feeling this episode is going to get a lot of views.
Come on.
And welcome and thank you for being on this episode of Build Different.